All right, for the individual company research project, I chose to analyze the Juul company, which makes a brand of smokeless tobacco product to help cigarette smokers quit smoking and reduce their reliance on nicotine to get through their day-to-day life. Now, this market can easily be characterized as monopolistic competition, as it meets every standard for that section. Now, in a monopolistic competition, the product is going to be standardized because the product they're developing is a nicotine delivery device. There's really not too much variability you can have in between different instances of this. And so every one of these products is going to do one basic function. They differentiate through advertising and they differentiate through pricing. Now, there's a massive number of suppliers in this industry because this is very easy technology to develop and therefore the barriers to entry are relatively low. These companies are all price makers. It's a relatively elastic market, and so if they decide to go a little bit crazy on their pricing, they're going to lose out, but all in all, they don't have to take a certain price. It's not a perfect competition in any capacity. As far as the type of information, there's much evidence of advertising as they have very limited other ways of differentiating their products from other companies. Now, recently, the FDA has instituted some regulations in an attempt to crack down on the smokeless tobacco industry. These regulations involve fees for being a manufacturer, a bunch of legal documents which results in the need to hire a small fleet of lawyers, as well as mandated research as to what the harmful effects of these products can be in the long term. Now, all of these FDA regulations have to do with the cost of manufacturing, and so it's not going to affect the demand curve whatsoever. It is going to, however, affect the supply. And so when you have these fees necessary to participate in this industry, it's not going to affect variable costs, it's going to affect their fixed costs, which in turn only affects their total cost. And so before the regulation, you have your ATC curve right here, is the first one, demand curve right here, and so here's your optimal demand. Now after regulation, you're going to end up with a higher total cost of operating, and thus their optimum quantity is lowered overall. Now, this is going to reduce their profits in the long term, where previously in the monopolistic competition, it was easy to achieve an economic profit in the short term. However, maintaining this was it was hard in the long run, on the grounds that when one company innovated and created a product that shot ahead of others, it was very easy for copycat companies to take their new technology and reapply it. However, with new regulations and barriers to entry, it's going to be harder for new companies and thus new competition to enter the market. And so while they are going to make a lesser degree of economic profit overall, they will be able to maintain this for a longer span of time because these regulations harm competition. And so I guess I would argue that in the end, their economic profit is going to be greatened in the very long term while dampened in the short run.